Well, looks like you're back. Welcome back, stranger, to the Level Cap podcast, where we be discussing a lot of things you varmints like games, news, video games, and of course, all things otherwise.
There be otherwise in them their podcasts.
Yar. Wait, that's pirates.
Yeah, that's Pirates Marco.
Oh no.
Although I think it'd probably be more accurate to say there be games in them their podcasts.
I like that.
Because of course there's otherwise.
Oh yeah, because it's in my heart. It's in all of our hearts. It's in our minds and our hearts and our friendships. Brad, more importantly,
You already said all that.
Yeah, I know, but friendship is so important. You have to say it twice.
Oh, I thought we were talking about games.
Yeah, and games too. Games lead to friendship, or friendship
All
leads
right.
to games.
Yeah.
It's circuitous. The more you play with your
suppose so.
friends, the more games, and then the more games, the more friends. Right? I'm glad to have you back, Brad.
Presumably.
I missed you last week.
Yeah, I missed you too, Marco. I'm sorry that we didn't get to podcast, but I was out in Georgia at a friend's wedding, and it was a great time. So
Ooh.
I don't regret it.
Did you play board
we,
games?
We went hiking up to this inn in the mountain after the wedding was over. We went hiking, and at the end they had a board game room on this mountaintop lodge, and so we sat on the mountaintop and played some board games. It was good fun.
Oh man, I was joking about the board games thing, but I'm glad to hear that even during your breaks and even during your friend's wedding,
Even in the wilderness and the far ends of the earth, there's board gaming.
it's still board gaming, Brad. It's like it's in your blood, it's in your veins. If I stabbed you right now, you would leak board games.
I suppose they don't really flow through well through the veins, though.
Yeah, they're not very viscous. All right,
Yeah.
everybody, welcome to the Level Cap podcast. We promise you that there are no cowboys or pirates on this episode.
Or stabbing people to drink their board games.
drink their board game blood. Yes, indeed. None of that. Instead, we have a wonderful docket for all of you tonight. We will be talking about a game that Brad and I have both played very recently, or semi-recently. We're going to be talking about some Level 99 Games news and answering some of your hard-pressed questions. So really, the first thing that we're going to talk about on this docket will be our Game Club game for this week. And our Game Club game for this week is, Brad, take it away.
Is Reciteer. Have I said that correctly? Reciteer?
Yeah, I think it's Reciteer.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Reciteer,
So,
Brad?
Reciteer, an item shop's tale. In this game, you play as a young girl, Recette, and her fairy friend, Tyr, as they try to build an item shop so they can pay off Recette's massive debts. This game is a lot like Moonlighter. And that's, obviously, this game came first because this is a PS1 era game. But Moonlighter is, what's the word? So, yeah, you run an item shop, you go into the dungeon, you get items, you come back, you sell the items, you pay down your debt. It's all fairly straightforward.
So, I think a few things that... I guess it's just better to talk about this, like, what's different between this and Moonlighter, right? So, I think some of the bigger things are the fact that it's a much longer game, for one. It's definitely a harder game, I think, because... It's not really about finishing the dungeons, because the dungeons are there merely to stock up your shop, because a lot of the core progression comes in the form of getting enough money so that you don't default on your debt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I said as a joke, I think you missed it. I said this is a PS1 era game. Now, this actually came out in 2007, so it's not quite, but it looks like it should have been in the same year as most of the early PS1 games.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. Don't get me wrong. It's like it's an old game, but it's not that old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not that old, but it looks really old.
Yeah, I think it's just the style, because the company that made that also came out with another game, and it looks like very PS1 era-y. But yeah, it has that feel wherein Oh man, like Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. It's like they just took a bunch of sprites and then like kind of put it into a semi 3D world, and went like, "That's good graphics."
Well,
Yes. So, what do you think about this game,
it's
Brad? Like as an
um,
item shop game connoisseur yourself, what do you think?
well, it's kind of strange because you came to Moonlighter from this game, and I came to this game from Moonlighter, so we're gonna have a very different perspective on this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Um, because my feeling was that the game is cool, but I like the way that Moonlighter handles the genre better.
Hmm, hmm.
I think it's like Recettear does have a bit more going on, and I do like that you can play as a pure item shop and just buy from the guilds and sell to your shop. The adventuring section I felt was pretty lacking, and I think that's where Moonlighter does a much better job than this game.
Hmm.
But the item shop simulation, obviously this one is doing a bit better than Moonlighter because they actually balanced the item shop portion of the game
Yeah.
and didn't just let all the money get crazy. So the but yeah, it's a neat concept, and if we take it as this is the one that came first, then it is a really novel game and a pretty cool game. And buying and selling and determining your prices and making requests to people, make sure you keep your inventory in order so that when people come up and ask for a certain thing, you can have it for them. It's all actually pretty interesting, and I would say that I did enjoyed those kind of things. But I couldn't get over the dungeon combat, how lightweight it was. So
Yeah.
it was difficult for me to get into it too deeply.
Yeah, so I think that's the perspective I'm coming in with here, right? Like we're comparing this to Moonlighter, and that's absolutely not a wrong thing to say because Moonlighter was indeed inspired by this game, right? Um,
Yeah, very clearly and heavily inspired by
yeah,
Recettear.
very very clearly. So the thing about Recettear that differentiates it a bit from Moonlighter is that Recettear's like it doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like nearly 70% of the dialogue is just jokes, right?
Yeah.
And what else? What makes me think about this when we were talking about Moonlighter when I was playing it, I was thinking to myself that whenever I was in the dungeons, I was like, yeah, I wish I was playing Moonlighter. But at the same time, whenever I got back to the item shop, I was thinking to myself, I wish I was just playing Recettear. So like, I kind of just wish that I could chop up the games and like take Moonlighter's combat and then just take Recettear's item shop and then like make that into like the best game ever. I kind of just
Mm.
wanted something like that because I felt like Recettear had a lot more going on in the item shop portion. Not only is it actually balanced, right? Like you could do haggling, and that's a big deal, right? Like haggling's pretty cool. And I know Moonlighter had a small system wherein certain kinds of customers would request for certain kinds of things, right? Like, you know, warriors would want weapons and like other merchants would want materials rather than weapons. Uh,
Yeah.
but in Recettear, it's like way more in depth, right? Like you have little
Yeah.
kids who have pocket money and can't buy anything bigger than 100 gold pieces. And then you have a high roller who comes in who will buy literally a piece of paper for 1,000 gold pieces because they're so rich. And things like that. Like it makes the world and it makes the item shop portion feel more fleshed out. And I also like the
Hmm.
fact that you can haggle. Haggling is like my favorite mechanic in Recettear.
Haggling is cool, but it wasn't interesting to like set your price every single time. That was one thing I liked about Moonlighter is that when you sold an item at a certain price, the item would stay at that price until you changed it. Like when I walk into a store and I sell my first statue for 4,000 gold, and then another guy comes in and he's like, "I want to buy a statue," and it resets to like 1,200, and I have to move it back up to 4,000 again. That's
Mm-mm.
kind of a pain.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
different people can afford different amounts, and so that's part of the game. I get it.
Yeah.
I feel like the price tag was invented for a reason. It was a good invention that we should preserve in this modern era.
I see, I see. This modern era of 2007, you mean?
Yeah. Do you know who invented the price tag?
Oh, no, I don't know. Who?
It was actually J.C. Penney.
JC Penny. Okay, can you I'm
Yeah, the
not
man
American.
himself.
I'm not American. I do not know this person.
Oh, okay. Well, JCPenney's is a giant department store chain, or it was. It's gotten a lot smaller now since the internet era.
I
Like a
see.
lot of old stores, they didn't adapt very well. But anyway, he was a merchant in, I want to say, the late 1800s, and everybody haggled for everything. And he said, "I'm tired of that." And he made price tags and
Nice.
put price tag, and so he's credited with the invention of the price tag. And yeah, and so everybody paid the same price at JCPenney's, and that was a big innovation back in the day.
Wow, I didn't know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huh. See, I feel like that should be like I feel like if there was ever gonna be a game that tries to fill in the shoes of both Moonlighter and Reciteer, it should have some sort of like tagging system, I guess, wherein you have specific tags for specific kinds of people. Though I guess we were reaching into like really gross discriminatory like implications with that kind of stuff. But if you think about it this way, like all of these games are essentially about capitalism, and one thing that I really find funny about Reciteer is that it often jokes about how, like, capitalism is just all about profit and all that stuff. But, like, it ends up saying some really, well, not really deep, but it ends up saying some things that are a little bit too real for me sometimes. And it's kind of weird. Like, I guess one of the most emergent stories I had was, like, as a merchant, I want to sell something for the most amount of profit. But because I know that some of my customers are people I'll end up hiring later, like the mercenaries, like the thief girl or the
Hmm.
soldier guy, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
want to sell your stuff cheaper to them so that they'll equip it
yeah,
and such. That's pretty cool.
yeah, I like that emergent thing. Like, I'm not sure if it was intended. I'm pretty sure it was, but like that's an emergent thing that the game doesn't force you to do, but like because of the game's mechanics and systems, you do it anyway, and that's a real life thing that real life people do, and I find that to be like super interesting. I
Oh,
think that's the best part of the game, honestly.
okay. I have to correct myself. It wasn't JCPenney. It was John Wanamaker
Okay,
that
who's
invented the
that?
price tag. And yeah, it's just another American capitalist, a precursor to that. But yeah, it was Wanamaker's department store. My
I,
fault. My fault. My
it's okay,
mistake.
Brad. I don't blame you. I'm just not even disappointed. I'm just interested in all of this American lore you have because it's like
Well,
I know nothing.
now
I
I feel
always
bad because I misremembered a fact from my youth, and
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
probably and then I reported it to you guys without checking my work first.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I can edit it out if you want. Oh, here I go again, editing out your bits, Brad. I will edit
Yeah,
out your bits. Is it that okay?
they bits. My Twitch account is sad now.
Oh no, your bits. All right. So, Brad, what would you say to people who want to play Reciteer? Should they get it? Should they not? What do you think about the game?
I would say that in our fast-paced modern society, Moonlight will give you a very similar experience in 10 hours, but um, it's not unworthy if you're interested in the concept. I don't think I'm going to finish it myself.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 weeks in to the storyline. I don't know that I'm going to go further though, because yeah, because I have Atelier Furious to play, and I think that's a much better game.
Oh,
But
really?
you know, a lot of people love this game. This game's rated 10 on Steam, so I imagine it's pretty good for most folks. So make your own decision. But that's my feeling on it.
Yeah. In my opinion, get it if you have not played Moonlighter. But if you've already played Moonlighter, don't, because you'll just get
They're a
frustrated.
little too similar. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like they're a little too similar. I guess it's what Brad said. It's like it's a very similar experience, and you don't wanna how do you say this like if you've already played Moonlighter, playing Reciteer will just make you frustrated, right? But if you haven't played Moonlighter, play Reciteer because I think, in my opinion, it's the quote unquote better game, but it requires more time investment. So use
It's the
that.
longer game. You
Yeah,
get more time for your money if
eh,
that's the kind of trade-off that appeals to you.
yeah. Most people like that thing, like the dollar per hour ratio. Is that a thing? I
I
don't.
mean, that's a ratio that you can use to judge your entertainment, but that'll vary by the quality of the entertainment.
Yeah,
For example, like a movie ticket's $10 an hour, right?
yeah.
Effectively here in America. So but I'll pay $10, or rather, so it's like, or $10 for a ticket, so that's about $5 an hour. So I'll pay about $5 an hour to go see a cool new movie. But then a game like, Persona 5 is 100 hours, or 100 hours, yeah, for like $60. So you're actually getting a much better economy, almost, 40 to 50 cents an hour, for that entertainment. So, which one is the higher entertainment, which one is the lower entertainment? You can't judge everything by that.
Yeah,
I
indeed.
would definitely not go see a movie if I had to choose between playing Persona 5 and seeing, say, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I'm going to see today. I would definitely take Persona 5, even though it's a technically cheaper form of entertainment. That said, I can do both of these things, so it's not a pure comparison.
Oh, I see. Are you going to be playing Persona 5 while watching Ant-Man and the Wasp?
No, I'm just saying, like, in my life, I can have both of these experiences, and I think they're both worthy, even though they're valuated. One is valuated 10 times higher than the other. I would still choose the other over the one.
I see.
If that makes sense.
I understand now. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, people tend to hate it if their games don't translate in that way. I'm not really a personal believer of that. Like, give me a good experience. That's all I care about, really.
Yeah. And the experience is the important thing, and I think it's a little, people value it differently based on how much disposable income for entertainment they have.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right? Like, not everybody has money to throw away at hobbies.
Yeah, exactly. Some people will, want to, need to entertain themselves at a lower price. Some people are willing to spend, like $500 for the fancy Small World edition, that they're only going to play once or twice, and at that point you're spending like $50 an hour, or $100 an hour even.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. The what do you call that? The shelf of shame, or something.
Yeah.
My shelf of shame is definitely shameful, and like
it's more like a Steam library of shame.
Oh no, Brad! Have you ever tried using that tool that checks how much money or how much US dollars your Steam account is worth?
No, what is this? What is this tool? I need to look this up.
Oh my gosh, I'll link it to you at some point. I forgot the name, but like it's a built-in tool to Steam, so it's not like a third-party thing or whatever. But
Steam Calculator.
Yeah, Steam Calculator. Oh my gosh, it's like I looked at mine and I'm thinking to myself, that's not a healthy amount. Oh my gosh, did you look at yours?
Not yet. I mean, it's a third-party service I have to log into with Steam, so I'm not sure that I was gonna actually do that.
Yeah. Okay, so like it's kind of crazy, but like at the end of the day, your entertainment is your choice, and I think that's very important to realize, is that just because like Brad and I like recommend it or something doesn't mean you should get it, even if we do say you should get it. Yeah, I recommend Reciteer, but if you don't have the time, the money, or have played Moonlighter already, I just don't. Otherwise, get it. It's a great game. It is overwhelmingly positive on Steam for a reason.
Yeah, it's a cool game, and it in its day, it was really novel. So I would say check it out. But if you want to play a really good game, check out Atelier Fierce, which we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend some more time playing it. I actually played a bit of like Atelier. I don't know how to pronounce the first word. Atelier. Atelier Rorona, which I think is very different from the other games, from what I've read.
Well, so the way it works is they're in arcs. Like every 3 games, they change the system pretty radically. The basic concept of Verona is going to be the same, but the execution is going to be a lot different. Verona is actually one of the ones I haven't played yet. But it's pretty similar to Ayesha, I think, and I have played that one.
Okay. From what I know, it's like at least from what I saw, the item crafting system wasn't like this block puzzle thing that you were talking about. It was a bit different.
Yeah, that's new to the Sophie Fierce Lydian Swell arc. What's it? I think it's the Arland arc.
Yeah. So I think the main
Or
mechanic
no,
in
yeah.
Rorona was like, you know what? Let's talk about this next week.
Yeah.
Let's move on to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next
We'll talk about it
segment.
next week.
Let's move-
You get a different idea, but you should at least Google the gameplay for the item crafting gameplay for Ferris, so you know what I'm talking about when it comes up.
Yeah. That's to the listeners, not to Marco, because Marco's gonna play Ferris.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Cool.
All right. Okay. So let's move on to the next segment, also known as the pipeline or character of the week, depending on Brad's mood, taste, and aspirations. Brad, I'd like to ask you on your segment. You're in charge. So what do you want to do?
Well, I think that today we probably, I don't know, we've talked a lot about upcoming projects, but I think I probably just want to chat about what I've been working on lately, because it's been working a lot on different things. So I've been doing more on more stuff on Seventh Cross and testing that and everything. But
Oh, my heart.
I was getting a little bit tired of it, so I decided to make some other things, just to take a break. So I made a game yesterday called Free Companies of Indians, which I've pitched a couple times before.
Free Companies of Indians?
Free Companies of Indians. This is a game where you operate a mercenary company in the
okay.
like Gerard's Blackspire Company or Rookyoke's Champions of Indians.
Yeah.
And you go around the world and you fight for the different countries in the world, or you you fight for the different countries in the world, or you acquire different you buy mercenaries, you sell them to the different armies, you can go hunt monsters, you can go on quests. It's an open world sandbox game where your goal is just to make a certain amount of money, and whoever can make that much money first wins.
That's pretty cool. Is it competitive?
Yeah, it's competitive. So each player runs their own company.
Oh, and up to
these
3.
companies are competing. So, like, for example, if I go over to Relicore and I get involved with them by like outfitting their army with mercenaries, they give me a bunch of commissions, and then I can take my commissions, I can go off to the battlefield, I can fight, and I can claim this land for Relicore, and they'll pay me even more money to fight their battles for them. And then when somebody else comes up with a different commission from a different country and they want to claim the land, they have to fight the Relican army, which I outfitted previously with my mercenaries. You can also go off to the wilderness and you can fight against monsters in the far reaches of the world. And when you kill monsters, you get special treasures. You get all kinds of glory for that. You can upgrade your company with different specialists, and these guys give you, new abilities, like the ability to move faster around the world, or to have better equipment and gear for your guys.
How about better commissions?
Yeah, you can actually buy guys that will increase the amount of money you make on different services that your company provides.
Oh wow, I was kidding.
All those kind of things. Oh yeah, no, it's all real.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. I like that.
It went over really well. Everyone enjoyed the game yesterday when we played. The battle system still needs a bit of work. It was kind of a Millennium Blades type battle system. So I'm gonna pull that back, and I'm gonna probably redo the battle system today before I go to the movies. But it's been a fun thing to just work on, have a good time with.
Oh man,
yeah.
What kind of strange life must it be to let me just finish designing a really cool board game before I go watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's such a surreal thing to me.
It's something you don't think about often, but sometimes you're like, oh, I wish there was a game that was like this. And then you think to yourself, oh wait, I could just do that. And you do. And then and that's your day.
But Brad, we're not all award-winning game designers now, are we?
I don't know if I'm actually won any awards. I guess I won an award from Millennium Blades from somebody somewhere.
You won an award in my heart, and that's the only one that matters.
Oh, the Marco heart.
The Marco heart.
I'll keep that pinned to my suit.
Yeah, the Marcocoro.
It's like the Purple Heart, but it's the Marco heart.
Oh no. That's like a military honor, right? I'm not sure if my thing is that
it's a military honor for being wounded in battle.
Oh man, Brad, how dare you imply that my compliments wound you?
They cut to my heart, Marco.
Oh no, it's too real, too real. All right, so I'm really interested in this game, mostly because when you said it, I was like, is this Romance of the Three Indians? Um,
A little bit, maybe.
oh no. But wait, you said three. What's the third one? Because there's Gerard's, and then there's
Oh,
Rook's.
there's 6 different companies. A couple have been created for this game, or like were just mentioned in lore, but are now fully fleshed out.
Ooh.
Like for example, you can get the Kerrigan Transcontinental Company and Imperial. In this game, you can play as Kerrigan Securities, and you can play as the leader of the train company's older brother, who runs a mercenary company. That kind of thing. So
Isn't he a
the world is
specialist?
just more fleshed out. Yeah, Lyle is also a specialist in Imperial.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. Wait a minute, Brad. Okay,
Yeah.
so obviously variable character powers, because that's your bread and butter, right? Can you give us a small preview of what the variable character powers are and how they affect your gameplay?
It's a little too early for that. I can't say like exactly all the things that are happening because I'm still working out, combat system and such. But in general, your characters will want you to hire different kinds of mercenaries, I think, at least in the current version. Like this guy will fight better alongside more melee heroes. This guy will fight better alongside more mages. This guy does better when you're on monster hunts. That kind of thing.
I see. Okay.
Like any good sandbox game, I kind of want the players to be able to specialize once they get out of the gate. So your starting disposition doesn't really tell you too much about your whole game plan. It just gives you this one edge that you can choose to build on or to round out or to ignore completely, and that's fine because you choose your own path in these games.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. I like that. Man, now I'm thinking like, are there multiple unit types? How's the combat? Is it gonna be like? You said it was like Millennium Blade, so I assume it was like some sort of like
it
attack
was, but we
point
didn't
system.
like the Millennium Blades combat that much, so we're gonna change it.
Yeah.
I'm still working out on what it's exactly gonna be, but I'll tell you more about it as it develops.
Make it like Warhammer, so I have to roll like 600 d6s.
Yeah, that's not great.
Why not? Why not, Brad?
Because, well, first off, you can have a fight with another player, and the other 3 players at the table will just be like, "Oh, okay, come on," Like you have to make the combat quick enough that it doesn't ruin the gameplay for the rest of the players who aren't technically involved.
See, and this is why you're the game designer, and I'm not, and I'm just sitting here thinking about making a board game platform fighter rather than actually making it. There's a big difference between that.
You got to get on that, Marco.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's true. Maybe one of these days I talk more about like Marco's evolution from MOBA to arcade to platform fighter. Anyway, that pretty much does it for your segment. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to share?
No, not too much. Just still working on games. Still working on stuff. And hopefully I have some TTS modules for a couple of these games soon.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Do I hear TTS module for 7th Cross, baby?
I'm working on it. Working on it.
Yeah, I was on podcast with Laura last week.
Yeah.
And we just talked about like how cool all of these emblems are, how all of this art is. In fact, sitting next to me is my copy of the collector's edition for Exceed. It finally came in the mail. Thank goodness. Philippines shipping is absolutely horrible. I have not opened the box yet because I want to open it and have the sleeves so that, when my babies come out, I can sleeve them immediately.
Yeah. Like any father would want to.
Yeah, of course. That should be a product. Like they should sell like baby towels that look like card sleeves so you can sleeve your babies.
Yeah, this got too weird, Marco.
Oh, okay,
weird.
fine.
Take it back to center.
All right. Back to the drawing board. Marco now moves on from Brad's segment to Marco's segment, also known as 99 Questions, where Marco takes you on a mystical journey from your innocence in youth to getting sleeved and being an adult, where you ask hard-pressed questions and Marco and Brad give you soft, wrinkled answers. Get it? Because hard pressed and soft wrinkled.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
get it. I just don't quite understand.
If you
But
got
that's
it, why
okay.
didn't
That's
you
normal.
laugh? Why
I feel
didn't you
very
laugh?
comfortable with my not understanding.
Oh my gosh!
Feels
All right.
like I'm home again.
Ignorance is a bliss. Ignorance is a bliss. Okay, Brad. First question: do dryads in Indians share a common theme of interacting with discards? Both Lixis and Kajia have discard interacting effects, as does Exopherne and Pixel Tactics, though admittedly it's not universal. Aberrine has a different set of mechanics, after all.
So in BattleCon, we do try to unify the kind of racial mechanics for characters. So yeah, like both the dryads have discard interacting things, and there's a new dryad in Wanderers that will also have a sort of discard interacting.
Is she the
type of
brawler
card.
one? She's the punchy one, right? She looks like a
She's
martial artist.
No, she's the cactus dryad.
Oh, that one. All right. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they'll have a similar effect. We also, for another example, you have like the dragon characters. You have Berman and Agena and Marmalie. They all build up counters in one way or another. So they're all like slow build up type characters. And once they do their build up, then they can execute things in a completely safe sort of way. So it's an interesting archetype of character, and like the characters of that race have a similar build in that sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's
Is there other like racial traits?
I believe that like all of the Kaon characters have a like opponent chooses and discards a card type mechanics.
Okay.
Is just a little thing, and let's see. I think for a lot of the other characters, the races are diverse enough.
There's no elves.
There's only like one elven character in the whole in Indian or in the BattleCon series. I think
I'm sure there's two.
Well, there's two. There's Clinhide. There's Kadath.
Wait, Kadath's an elf?
Yeah, Seraphina is
Rook.
Rook is. So I don't know that they have any particular unifying mechanic.
I see. So the only other unifying mechanic is show tokens, I guess.
Yeah, show tokens.
Oh my gosh.
Hikaru, Eric, Pendros,
Jasper, if he ever came out.
Yeah, if Jasper comes out. Jaeger is kind of a show token.
Oh, I guess. Oh my gosh. Okay, Brad, I'm not going to let it slip by this time. The last time we mentioned Jaeger and you pronounced it as Jaeger, everybody lost their minds because that's not how you pronounce that. So are you saying that it is indeed Jaeger and not Jaeger?
I pronounce it Jaeger.
Okay, guys, it's canon now. We've been pronouncing that character's name wrong. It's Karen and Jaeger. There you go. And tell us in the comment section below whether or not you're okay with that.
It's not that important. I just say that because every time I say Jaeger, I think of the beer. So,
like Jaeger bombs,
or not? No, sorry, not the beer, the liqueur. Yeah,
the Jaeger bombs.
So, which is spelled differently, right? So it makes sense that it would not be pronounced the same way.
I see. Okay. You know what? Hands up in the air. You are the creator, God of this universe. Not this universe, but
whatever you want to say, as long as we understand who you're talking about. What I won't do is I definitely will not create a character that is actually named Jaeger to confuse you. There will not be like YAY, GIR.
Yes.
And that guy is totally different than Jaeger, and he exists just to confuse you on name pronunciation. That's not going to happen in Indians. Have no fear.
It's going to be even worse.
Everyone's going to know who you're talking about.
It's going to be even worse. What if this character's name is literally spelled the same way, right? And when you play Karen and Jaeger against him, you can move him because he's Jaeger.
Oh no. That's the worst.
Templating.
That can't ever be allowed.
Templating. But yeah. I understand. Okay, Brad, next question. This is actually a special question just for you because it expressly says for Brad. So I guess this person doesn't want my opinion.
Yep, no talking, Marco.
Okay, after this question, I will not talk until we ask the next one. When you play test your dueling games, how do you balance for variable skill? Especially if one playtester starts getting the hang of the game, do you not let that player playtest anymore except against yourself or other more experienced players? Question mark?
Well, this happens a lot because we have some playtesters that are just bad, like Marco, and some playtesters that are really great, like me. And so when I play against Marco, I always win because Marco is bad. And no, sorry, I'm abusing my my thing. No, anyway, we is that yes, yes. This is perfect. Um, no, so I'm actually not in charge of the balance playtesting. Andorel handles that stuff, and he has his own way of dealing with that. In general, I believe that you just kind of have to understand the strength of the players, and when all the players play against each other pretty regularly, you do kind of equalize in your skill level. There are a couple people in our circle that are stronger or weaker, but if we suspect that it was just stronger play that led to a victory, then we just swap characters and we replay the match in that same way, and that way you get an equal balance of of skill on both sides. You can say whether it's the matchup or whether it's the players. But yeah, well, welcome back, Marco.
Oh man, I wanted to give some opinions, but this person didn't want mine. To everybody but this person, it's very important that you also understand, like when you do play testing, that how do I put this? Like your meta matters a lot. Because even if it's just a dueling game, the kinds of characters you guys end up using to balance the other characters and the types of playstyles you and your friends have heavily affect the way things end up getting balanced. Eric.
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah, I mean, like, even though we playtested Eric the same way we playtested Rexon, the same way we playtested Joel, who both ended up being perfectly okay. Well, not perfectly, but they ended up being like generally well liked and well balanced characters.
Yeah, they were in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, middle of the pack, right? So, like, even if we play tested them in the same way, the biases in my play group actually ended up making it so that it worked for some characters but didn't work for others, and that's a very dangerous thing. And I think it's also something you have to consider when dealing with variable player skill, because at some point, like, we just reached a point where every single person in the group reached a player skill cap of like, oh, so this is just how you beat Eric. And because everybody like understood that, a lot of problematic things about Eric weren't popping up that ended up popping up for a lot of people who ended up playing against him. So yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes, I guess. All right, Brad, next question. I think this is a very interesting one because I don't know the answer to this one, and I'm really interested because I actually don't know. Where did the name Devris come from? The Mage Wars promo character in Exceed. Apparently, he's just called a warlock from his Mage Wars game. So I think this is a common theme for all of your Mage Wars promo characters. They're actually all named versions of the mages that appear in the source game. So how'd you ever get names for them, and why did you get names for them?
So in the when we first did our Mage Wars crossover for BattleCon, we had gosh, I can't remember what the dwarf is called in his source material, but the forge master, I think was what he is. And then we also had the warlock, pyromancer, the female warlock. And those characters didn't come with names. And when I first contacted Brian Pope and I was like, "Hey, can we do Mage Wars characters in BattleCon?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." We offered those two we were offered those two characters, and I said, "What are their names?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like Forge Master and Warlock. You can do female warlock if you want." And I was like, no, that's not going to do. We need to come up with names. And he's like, okay, well, just name them anything you want. And so I came up with the original names, which were Raederic Blackforge for the
Forge
dwarf.
Master.
Yeah, and then Iskra Brimstone, I think, was the warlock. So pretty simple fantasy type names. We came up with those. That was cool. And then later on, we decided we wanted to do the Warlock, the Apprentice Warlock from Mage Wars. And at that point, I guess different people had taken charge of the lore because they came to me and they were like, or I came to them and I'm like, can we do this character? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, what's his name? And it's like, and he said, oh, it's Devris. So they knew at that point what the character's name was right off before anything else. So something changed internally in the Mage Wars team because they had that information on hand when the time came.
Maybe you forced that change, right?
Maybe. I imagine it's just, different points in the life cycle of it. Somebody probably just took over the lore and started doing writing for it.
I see.
Because I think Mage Wars Academy was probably developed by different, wasn't directly developed by the same team. It was like a new team within Arcane Wonders.
Okay. I think
so they might have planned that stuff differently.
Huh. Okay. Wait, does this mean now that if there's ever any Mage Wars lore, are your names canon?
I think that the characters that I named are one Warlock and one Forge Master in the world of Mage Wars. They're not the Forge Master and Warlock that show up in the game necessarily.
Okay, but that means you have OCs in the Mage Wars canon then.
Sure. I guess that's fair. That's probably true.
Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty cool. I never knew. I actually really like Raedric a lot. You know why. Everybody knows why. Everybody who listens to this podcast should know why. If you don't know why, it's because Raedric is Robert. And I don't care what you guys say, he is Robert. He is Robert.
He's an updated Robert, the Saint, who was one of the very first BattleCon promos.
My favorite.
Which was Marco's favorite character.
Yes, because I have over 200 games on that guy. Favorite character.
So we are actually bringing some guys back in BattleCon Unleashed. One of the promos that you'll be able to get is an updated Klaus and Wendell.
Ooh, man, Klaus and Wendell is gonna be so fun.
That's gonna be in Unleashed. Yeah, this is a wind spirit and a kid knight, and they basically she throws the kid at other players to knock them around like a pinball.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. On two levels for me, because Klaus and Wendell are a tag team fighter. They're essentially a tag team fighter, but they don't use a marker, right? So that's one interesting thing. So there's only actually one stand-up, despite them being two characters, which many people might not understand, but it's a pretty cool concept anyway. Mechanically speaking, though, I really love their unique ability, which basically lets them, you battering ram people with Klaus. Klaus is the knight, right?
Yeah, Klaus is the kid, the knight, and you just slam into people and knock them back. Instead of when you would move over them, you slam into them instead and do damage and push them back.
So good. I mean, basically we were like, how does Klaus and Wendell work? Oh, we don't know. And then we realized, oh, I get it now. You dodge for 3 free damage every time.
Yeah, you can push your opponent instead of doing the dodge. So you can offensive dodge, which is a pretty big innovation.
Oh my gosh. He was the first offensive dodge we had in the game. Outside of Cherry, Joel, and Gerard, as far as I know. Sorry.
Well,
sorry. I just have some sort of encyclopedic knowledge of battle.
Yeah. That was pretty impressive that you knew all those characters that can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of as if I had looked at all of their cards
and even created guides.
Yeah, maybe. I'm very flabbergasted by this. Anyway, that pretty much does it for our 99 questions segment. We hope we answered your questions adequately, and we hope that you are excited. If you have any more questions for us, please put it in the comment section down below, or put it in the Google form submission link found in the description box down below. And finally, Brad, we're not going to end this podcast because we still have to do our favorite segment, or rather my favorite segment, Otherwise, also known as the reason why I say otherwise at the start of every episode. But I guess you said otherwise this time, so thanks, Brad.
Yeah, well, let's talk about our pitch this week.
All right, so welcome to our otherwise segment. This segment is called The Pitch, where Brad and I are asked to pitch a TV series. I think it's called Serialize It or Serial It. I don't know whatever name we came up with it before. But really, this game is just all about Brad and I pitching the first episode of a series based on a concept. Usually, what we do is we try to both pitch different ideas, right? Like, I give Brad a topic, Brad gives me a topic, and we both pitch. However, a fan has submitted a specific question. I believe it was Luna who said, pitch us the first episode of the Millennium Blades anime. And I think, Brad, we should co-op on this one because I think it would be a much better TV series if you and I work together. Because with your actual writing skills and my memes, we can make the ultimate anime.
I knew something was missing from the ultimate anime, and now that you've said it, I know it's Marco's memes.
Yeah, of course. Do you see all the memes I post on the Facebook groups? It's absolutely crazy. All right, Brad. Here's my jumping off point, right? It would be really, really easy to make a Millennium Blades anime that's basically just Yu-Gi-Oh, but like over the top, right? Like even more over the top than Yu-Gi-Oh already is. But I feel like that's the coward's way,
Okay. So what's your idea?
So here's my pitch, right? What if this was a little bit like that old Dungeons and Dragons TV show wherein they like entered the world of Dungeons and Dragons? Right?
Oh no.
So this is a what's the name of that? Isekai kind of anime wherein a regular person gets sent to the world of Millennium Blades, right? So now it can be like this over-the-top anime, but you have a regular person who tries to view everything through the lens of like, oh yeah, this is like a card battle anime world. I get it. But then it just doesn't make sense because everybody's like trying to solve their problems by, fighting each other at card games, and like the president of the United States solves a nuclear war using card games and stuff like that. And the pitch is that every single episode is played through the eyes of this guy who's just a regular dude who essentially acts like the Joey in the anime, but instead of everything centering around the cool main character, it's this guy going like, really? That's how you guys are going to solve your problem?
World. I like it. Yeah. So
what's your...
So
expand, Brad, expand.
Right. So in the first episode, they're playing. So the guy in the real world, he wins the.
What's his name? What's his name, Brad? What's his name?
Oh gosh, let's see. Millennium Blades names are hard to come up with.
Yeah, but he's not from Millennium Blades, so his name is like Kotaro Shoto, right? And then he gets like sent into the isekai world.
Okay. No, it's got to be at least a name that like sounds like it could be a Millennium Blades name.
I see.
Oh gosh, it's on like tip of my tongue. Let's see. How about
how about
yeah, Miles Cardigan. There you go. Miles Cardigan.
Miles Cardigan. All right, let's go.
All right.
Okay, wait.
And
design feature, he always wears a cardigan. Keep going.
Sure, yeah, that's how I got the name, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a family thing or anything.
Yeah. Of course.
So anyway, he wins the Millennium Blades World Tournament. At that moment, the time or the dimensional portal opens, and and Cardinal Bands pops out, and he's like, "I need your help to stop the evil that's consuming our world."
You are the chosen one.
Yanks him back through the dimensional portal, and it turns out the Millennium Blades in our world was just a ruse in order to train the next series of champions for the real Millennium Blades world, so they could resolve the coming cataclysm.
Ah, I see. Okay,
this is also the plot to Last Starfighter.
Shh. Copyright. All right. So he gets sent into the real world with Cardinal Bands, right? And he's trying to figure out the entire world. And then he realizes that playing these card games ends up like killing you if you lose or something. And he tries to be the best, right? But here's the twist, right? Cardinal Bands goes like, "Oh yeah, I need you," blah blah blah. So he thinks he's the chosen one, and like in these otherworld anime, usually these characters end up being like super OP and having like some sort of power that makes them OP, right? Here's my twist. So he gets sent into the Millennium Blades world, right? And all your favorite characters are there. There's Dex, there's Moray, there's Shore, right? And they're all trying to play Millennium Blades in their way. But then the main character's superpower is the fact that he tries to solve things in ways that aren't children's card games, right? So it ends up making the entire journey easier because it's like, you must.
I never thought we could just talk about our problems.
Exactly. It's like, oh man, this guy's blocking our path. I guess we have to fight him in a duel. And it's like, guys, no, really, hey, sir, can you, hi, yeah, my name is Miles. Yeah. Can you let us through? You must first challenge me to a children's card game. No, really, I just really need to use the bathroom. How about I fight you guys after I use it? All right? All right, then. Just make sure you come back to play this children's card game. No problem, man. No problem. And then they go by and never come back. End of episode 1. Right? Like...
That's terrible.
That's his ultimate power, is that he knows that there is other ways to resolve conflicts than just by playing stupid children's card games.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Yeah.
Right?
I like it. I like it.
So, do the fans like it, Brad? Do you think the fans will like it?
Probably not. It sounds like the gag would only work about 2 or 3 times.
I mean, who's saying that we're gonna get more than one episode of this thing? I'm pretty sure we get canceled after episode 1.
What? Oh, come on, Marco.
Have more faith.
A little more credit.
Have more faith. Have more faith. All right, I'll have more faith. Listeners, it is in your hands right now. You decide the fate of Millennium Blades Pilot Episode 1. Did Brad and I come up with a good idea? Would you want to watch this anime or read this manga? Please tell us in the comment section down below. And if you have your own Millennium Blades pitch ideas or your own ideas for episodes, please tell us. We'd be happy to hear you out. So, Brad, as much as I love shooting the breeze every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I have nothing against birds, okay? It's just like, okay, as much as I love shooting the breeze with you, we might have to end this podcast because
what
we
if you
both
got against
have...
breezes then?
Oh, no.
I happen to know somebody named Breeze, and he's a nice person.
Oh, really? Okay, is that a joke, or do you actually know someone named Breeze? Because that would be pretty cool.
I actually do know someone named Breeze.
That is so cool. Okay, wait, before we end, who has the coolest name that you know? Like, which person you know has the coolest name?
Yeah, probably Breeze Grigus is the coolest name. He sounds like a video game boss, right?
Yeah, he sounds like a mid boss, like the character you would fight before the final boss.
Yeah.
Oh, Breeze Gigas challenges you. Yeah, I get that. I think the person with the coolest name that I know is a batchmate of mine from college or high school. His name is Wolfgang Dragonheart.
Wait, that's a real name?
That's his first and second name. His last name is something like Cruz.
That's good. I did know somebody once named Raphael Stonecipher.
What?
That was a pretty cool name.
That is a pretty cool name. That is indeed a pretty cool name. But yeah, I think that's the coolest name I know, Wolfgang Dragonheart. Because his parents
are... a little too high fantasy.
Look, it's such a good name, okay? Like
he was born during a screening of Lord of the Rings or something.
His parents are ultra nerds, and they were like, "Oh man, how are we gonna both talk about our love for high fantasy and our love for classical music?" I know. Okay. So okay, that pretty much ends it for this episode of the Level Cap Podcast. I'm so happy that you were all here, and I hope you guys liked it. If you liked it, please give us a comment. It means so much to both Brad and me. And if you like this episode, please share it with a friend. And if you hated it, share it with an enemy. As usual, it has been me, your host, Marco Dos Santos, also known as Mechanic Critic, also known as Random Asian Guy, also known as not Wolfgang Dragonheart. And with me has been my wonderful co-host,
Brad Talton. And it's been great to be with you guys and chat with you for a bit. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time on the Level Cap Podcast.
All right. Bye-bye. Happy gaming.
Bye-bye.